Pranam to all Atmajyotis. We are in Chidambaram today. Let us study some of the teachings of Baba Nityananda. He taught Chidakasha Gita, the song of consciousness, to one of his disciples. Actually, he didn't write anything. He taught the Chidakasha Gita, which was recorded by one of his disciples and then was published. Baba Nityananda was in Kanjangad area near Mangalore. There's a Nityananda ashram there. There are a number of caves there where Baba Nityananda meditated. Baba Nityananda was a Avadut of highest order. Okay. So when we say Avadut, a fully enlightened being who is always immersed in Brahman. Okay. Who is always one with Brahman. Who is always one with Supreme Reality. Because he is one with Supreme Reality, he cannot transact in the world in any normal way. The transaction in the world drops practically. Right? So that is the highest order, Avadut. When you are with pure consciousness, the physical world appears like a pure illusion or maya. A Avadut will not be able to transact in the world in a normal, in a meaningful way. But people respect him. People give a lot of respect, okay, because such a Gnani is very rare. Such an enlightened being is very rare. He lived in an area called Kanjangad, that is during British time. Okay. A lot of miracles happened in his presence, even though he is not a doer. A highly enlightened being is like a child. Okay. It is not that he is not a doer of anything. It's like sun. Sun doesn't do anything. Sunlight shines, the plant grows. Sun doesn't claim that, oh, because of me the plant grows. It is just sunlight, the plants grew. Like that, Baba Nityananda, a lot of miracles happened in Baba Nityananda's presence. I had an opportunity to record some of the devotees' talks, translate devotees' talks of Baba Nityananda. Long back, that time they recorded the experience of devotees in a tape record, CD, cassette. The Nityananda Ashram, they requested me to translate that because there are some Konkani words there and Kannada into English. So it was 30 minutes cassette. I thought, okay, I'll do that. Very simple job, 30 minutes. But then, actually, for that voice was so poor quality, recording was poor quality. There was lot of noise in the background. Suddenly, door opening, door shutting, and old recording. So for 30 minutes recording to listen and transcribe, it took me more than 30 hours. Every time when you miss something, you have to go back. the voice becomes inaudible. Okay, so that's, but then it is a sadhana. To listen to the teachings of enlightened beings and transcribe is a sadhana itself. It's a great sadhana. There are a lot of focus will come into the mind. Mind will get focused, and mind will really start looking at the teachings very carefully. Just pause. So then other kind of sadhana is, okay, study the teachings of a Gnani and teach it to others. Okay, it is said that a teacher is the best learner. When you teach, you learn better, because when you have to explain something to somebody, your mind becomes much more clearer. I learned this early in my life. When I was studying in the 8th standard, and all the government school, there are no teachers. So what I used to do is I used to collect my classmates and teach them science. That's how I learned. My classmates, I used to conduct classes that happened all the way up to engineering. My classmates became my students. When the professors are not there, I took the classes for them. And when the students are not there, I used to stand in front of a mirror and teach myself. So when the process of teaching is the best way to learn. So always take the teachings of a Gnani, enlightened being, and try to contemplate on it, and if possible, teach to others. This is meant by Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Harehe, Pada Sevanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedam. This is Navavidha Bhakti. Shravanam, you listen. When a greater being talks to you, when a person highly enlightened talks to you, talks about the teachings, listen. Kirtanam means sing. It's about singing bhajan or teaching to others. So, no, I have not understood perfectly. Nobody will understand perfectly. You start somewhere. As you start teaching, the process of teaching itself is a punya. That will purify your mind. Gradually it will clear up. Okay. So teaching of Bhagavad Gita, teaching of the enlightened being sayings is a sadhana. So that we should do little bit. By doing that, we will get purified. That's why in earlier ancient days, the rishis told their students, Swadhyaya pravachanena na pramaditavyam. Swadhyaya pravachanena na pramaditavyam. Swadhyaya means self-study, sadhana. You should not drop it. Always should do it. Pravachana means talk. Every day you should do. So by doing that, your mind becomes much more purer and purer. So you can keep asking, why my mind has not become silent? Arey Baba, what sadhana you are doing? The sadhana is, you have to listen. That's a great sadhana. Then you have to contemplate, meditate, swadhyaya. Then teach. That itself is a sadhana. Okay, in the process, you become purified. This is a prescribed way of enlightenment. So now let us take Chidakasha Gita of Nityananda. We will take one or two slokas. First sentence he says, Gnani has no mind. Okay? His is equal self. Neither sleep, dream, nor sushupti are his. He is the eternal sleep. For him, there is no sun or the moon as such. It is always sunrise. So Gnani has no mind. What do you mean with Gnani has no mind? Mind is required for operating in the world. Okay? What is mind actually? What do you mean by mind? How do you define the mind?
For this physical world, bundle of thoughts.
Mind is nothing but bundle of thoughts. Okay? So whatever you are seeing and experiencing is nothing but the world only, mind only. So you are seeing this building. Where is it? The building is out there. It appears to be out there, but It is there in the mind, in your mind. This is physical space. Bhutakasha. Bhutakasha has buildings, animals, plants, trees, sky, stars, galaxies. It's huge. Bhutakasha, physical space. The physical space is in the mental space. Imagine you had no mind, then there's no physical space. Entire physical space is appearing in the mind. It's a mental space. So your mind is so vast that it encompasses the whole galaxy. You understand? So your mind is all that what you can see. Okay, now you cannot in the waking state, but then you can understand it better in the dreaming state. In dream, when you go, you still see a forest, you still see a sky, you still see an elephant. Elephant is so big, but where was it? All that was there in the mind only, in the dream state. That you will know in the waking state. In the dream state, you saw the world. The whole huge, vast world appeared in your dream state. Okay, it's a mental space. Now then when you wake up, you realize, oh, it was all in the dream. Now, whatever you are seeing is also a part of the dream. Everything is appearing in your mental space. Understand? So, if everything is appearing in mental space, one thing is clear, that we are not a small beings in this whole universe, but we are the world. You are the world. There's nobody to blame. In mental space, in your dream state, you saw a tiger. The tiger was your own impression which created the tiger. It's nothing else. You got a horror movie, or what you call as nightmare, in your dream. Nightmare didn't come. Nightmare was there in your impression and it appeared. So anything happening in the world which we like or dislike is a projection of our impression. There's nobody else to blame. You are responsible.
One impression. It's my impression. Whose impression?
Yours. Your impressions.
Mind is okay. Mind's impression. Mind has got that impression.
Correct.
Mind itself is projecting.
And who allowed that into your mind? You. It's you who are responsible for what gets into your mind. You are the one who opened your door of your house and allowed somebody in or out. You have a choice of allowing somebody in or out into your house. Okay? You are the owner of your house. Similarly, you are owner of your mind.
So that's my choice.
That's your choice. But when you are unconscious, unconsciously you allowed so many things to get into your mind because you are not aware that you had a choice. So those are the impressions which are coming out. When you become aware, no impressions will get in just like that. You understand? Because you are aware. In unawareness, so much of things got into mind. Now those are the things which you will experience as coming out. Awareness, in awareness, it will not come. Okay. So the entire space in the mind is called Chittakasha. Bhutakasha is in Chittakasha. Chittakasha is in Chidakasha. Chidakasha means consciousness. This Gita, the song of Baba Nityananda, is about Chidakasha, or the song of consciousness. Right? Jnani has no mind. He has reached a state of no mind. What does it mean? Mind means a bundle of thoughts. No thought, no mind. Thoughts are mind. Right? And of all the thoughts are dependent on I thought. I am thought. You cannot think of a thought without I am thought. I am seeing, I am drinking. Oh, that person is going. That person is going, but because I am observing it. So all thoughts are centered on I am thought. I am thought is the root thought. You understand? The root is I am, the feeling, the thought. I am thought is the root. Now if the I am thought root is removed, then no other thought can sustain. Every thought will collapse. If the I am thought goes, the whole structure of the tree falls, thought structure. If the I am thought goes, the world also falls, because there is no other, nothing, the world is supported with thoughts. Right? So then what will happen? The moment I am thought goes, you are in a state of pure awareness. Pure awareness has no thoughts. Unawareness has thoughts. In a state of awareness, there are no thoughts, and that no thought state is called a no mind state. Now, does it mean that a Jnani is not able to function in the world? For functioning in the world, thoughts are required. Okay? So, thoughts don't arise unconsciously in Jnani. So, for example, if somebody sits for meditation, I can't sit for meditation because a lot of thoughts are coming for me. The thoughts are arising unconsciously. All impressions are coming out. And you would like to have a meditation where it is thought free, peaceful. But it's coming out and my thoughts are coming. Right? In a state of jnana, unconsciously no thought will arise. That is the state of no mind. A jnani will use a mind to interact in the world, but mind doesn't use jnani. The dog's head should make the tail wag. The tail is nothing but the mind, head is nothing but the intelligence. A jnani makes the mind operate according to his desire, depending on the occasion. Otherwise, he will keep the mind quiet. Whereas in case of ajnani, the tail, which is mind, which keeps you engaged. Understand? So the mind drives the people, not the other way. All the people are driven by the mind. When you say driven by the mind, impressions of the mind, emotions, anger, desire, stress, tension is what drives people. In case of Jnani, the mind has become totally silent because the I am thought has disappeared. Into what? Pure consciousness. Jnani has become of the nature of pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is no thoughts. That's why Jnani has no thoughts.
You choose to have thoughts.
When required, you use the thoughts. Otherwise, you'll be silent. That's the state of a Jnani.
There is no I. That's why there is no you. That's why there is no we. It's only one. And that's why whatever is there. And if I want to create, I will create. I'll create the mind or thoughts or whatever it is.
Correct.
That's why I choose it.
There is no oneness also.
Yeah.
There is no one also.
Yeah, one also.
Okay? It's like a simple child.
Doesn't know anything. Doesn't know about self, just be.
No me, the other, all are fused into one holistic experience. That's the state of Jnani. And this is a state of Jnani, a fully avaduta, he'll live in that state. Whereas other Jnanis may not be fully in that state, they go and come back. Okay? For functional purposes, office and all. So they may, office or the business and other functions, they may go back to the state and come back for operations. But whichever Jnani is, the mind doesn't drive him. He drives the mind. A fully enlightened being, Jnani has no mind. Is it clear? Neither sleep, dream, nor sushupti are his. So you will say, I am awake, I am dreaming, I dreamt, I slept. Okay? So you say, associate with I with many things. I am the body, I am the mind. I am so and so, I am a doctor, I am an engineer, I am a housewife. So now if I am thought disappears, all your relationships, what you call as body, mind, intellect, house, building, job, all those will disappear like dream objects. What is reality is pure awareness will remain. So then you cannot say I slept, I woke up, I dreamt, I am in deep sleep. Because these are states of the mind. So when you associate the state of the mind only, these are the things which are possible. When the mind itself has dissolved into the self, there is no concept of sleep, dream, or waking state for a Gnani. Right? A Gnani has no state of waking, dreaming, deep sleeping. What is the state of Gnani? A pure Sakshi, the witness. Pure awareness is the state of Gnani. The Sakshi doesn't say I slept, I woke up, nothing. It's just witness of all the states. Now let's understand the mind in another way. Mind means bundle of thoughts. So is mind separate from the self? Mind is separate from Atman? Mind is nothing but Atman. Mind is also the self. The mind which is outwardly directed for the creation purpose is called mind. The self which is outwardly directed for the creation purpose is called mind. That is full of thoughts. The self which is inwardly directed, going back to the source, is called self. So the mind which is actually directed outwards is called the mind with thoughts. The mind which is directed inwards becomes empty of thoughts and it is called self. So pure mind is nothing but self only. Pure mind is nothing but Atma only. It is not different from the Atma. There is no sun or moon as such, it is always sunrise. Sun and moon in the spiritual terminology refer to the Atma. Sun refers to Atma, intellect, and moon refers to material nature. Okay? The spirituality has full of what you call technical jargons. Alright? So that's where we are engineers are very comfortable with technical jargons. Whenever we want to create a new business, I will say some new jargon. That guy gets confused. Oh, this I don't know. Same word stuff in a new terminology. Right? So you create a jargon. So the sun and moon in the spiritual jargon, moon represents the mind. Moon represents the matter. Okay? Because matter is influenced by moon. For example, the ocean, there's a tide based on the phases of the moon. Based on the phase of the moon, mind also waxes and wanes. Okay. So Gnani has no moon. In the sense, Gnani is not seeing the matter. Gnani has no sun also. That means a person who is the identified Jiva, he has things of the Atma, self, which is sun. The sun and moon have disappeared because he has become the nature of sun. It is like this. The sun is of the nature of light. When I say sun, it's Atma, the self, the pure consciousness. I am giving an example in the form of light. Sun is the light. Where there is sun, there is darkness. Okay, beyond the light, there is darkness. Has sun ever seen darkness? Sun can never see darkness. Has darkness ever seen the sun? It cannot. Okay, darkness and sun, they cannot exist together. Now, has sun ever seen the light? Sun can never see the light because sun is of the nature of light. So when Gnani has become Atma, there is no concept of any other consciousness there. He is of the nature of Atma. For him there is no moon. Moon means darkness, which is actually matter. For him there is no sun. There is no consciousness. He is of the nature of consciousness. He is the light nature of awareness. He is the enlightened being. This is the meaning of that. So there is no sunrise also. Sunrise means awakening of enlightenment. No, no, no. I got jnana and one day I got jnana, arising of sun. No. He is of the nature of sun. He has become the pure awareness. Jnana doesn't rise and fall. He is of jnana. He is of the wisdom. You understood what I'm saying? The moon represents the matter. The sun represents Atma. For a jiva, oh, there's a matter and then Atma. Right? Often I heard there's a spiritual life and there's a material life. Material life means moon life. Spiritual life means sun life. Okay, for Jnani, sun life and moon life both are gone. Now he has become the nature of sun, the light. The light shines when the glass chimney of a kerosene lamp is sooted. The soot on the mind has to be removed. So he gives an example of that time. There's a chimney lamp where there's a glass around and the lamp is there and soot is there. Black soot will cover that. So you cannot see the light. Light is there, but you cannot see the light. So similarly, the mind is that glass. The mind gets covered with the soot. Soot is ignorance. The light is yourself, Atma. The light is divine. The light is of the nature of God. That's Atma Jyoti, the light of the self. It's always shining. It's always there. But that light is not coming out because the mind has covered by impurities. Mind has got covered by ignorance. Mind has got covered by Adnana. So when that Adnana is removed, the lamp shines, the light shines. And you realize that you are the divine light. You are nothing but the reflection of God operating in the body. Your body is a temple. The body is the temple and your consciousness, Chaitanya, is divine. That is the divine light is glowing in you. The light of the self is glowing in you. Atma Jyoti is glowing in you. You are the light. That you understand. When the mind soot, the ignorance in the mind is go. Ignorance in the mind goes. Now how does the ignorance in the mind goes? How do you remove the ignorance in the mind? So that ignorance in the mind is removed through sadhana. Okay, sadhana is karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, kriya yoga. There are 4 different types of sadhana which are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Karma, bhakti, jnana, kriya. So now what is the purpose of this sadhana? The sadhana progressively purifies the mind. So the mind has to become pure. The sadhana itself is not the end. Sadhana is the means. Through the sadhana, the soot of the mind, the ignorance of the mind has to be uncovered so that divine light shines in us. We become the nature of God. We become the nature of the pure light. So that is the purpose of human life. So that's what this Baba Nityananda says. The Sushumna is the sun, the Ida the moon, and Pingala the star, the red, blue, green and yellow in nature. So he is now straight away going Baba Nityananda sadhana. Baba Nityananda is more of a Kriya Yoga. Okay? He was a born Avadhuta. He was a born Jnani. He is a avatar Purusha. He didn't practice something. But he taught the science of Shaktipat. From Baba Nityananda it went to Baba Muktananda. From Baba Muktananda, his Chidilasanda, they have established the tradition of Shaktipat. So there are 3 channels, there are 72,000 energy channels in our body, out of which 3 are main: Ida, Pingala and Sushumna. Ida means sun, Pingala means moon, Sushumna means Brahmanadi or higher consciousness. They are in the spinal cord. So when the prana rises into Sushumna, the mind becomes deeply silent. Okay? That's a state of samadhi. Ida is sun. When you say sun, it's not spiritual sun. It is, sun means mind which goes outwards, aggressive in nature. Moon means mind goes inwards. Pingala is moon, Ida means sun. The prana keeps flowing alternately at every 45 minutes, Ida and Pingala. So the mind is outward and inward. Outward and it takes attention to inward means inward organs. Ida means moon. Pingala means sun. Right? So the nadi, the current flows in nadi, every 45 minutes switches Ida Pingala. And during the 45 minutes switching, briefly for a moment it goes into Sushumna also, the prana. So that period gives rest to the mind. The brief period it goes into Sushumna. Otherwise mind is either outgoing or inward. Inward means thoughts will rise. Outward means we are attracted to the external world. Ida and Pingala. But when the prana, for all meditation purpose or for spirituality enlightenment, prana has to enter into Sushumna. Sushumna is called Brahmanadi. So this is where he calls it a star. He didn't say Brahmanadi, he says a star. Sun, moon and star. So star is, actually when he says star is a symbol of Dhruva Nakshatra. Dhruva means aim. Dhruva means that there is a star, North Pole. It is always in one place, other stars are moving. So he refers to that star, Dhruva Nakshatra, means the aim of our sadhana is that Sushumna. That's the purpose.
Sushumna is a star.
No.
Surya.
No, Surya is Pingala. Surya is different way. Surya is also used as Atma in many cases. But in this case, Surya means outward going mind. Okay? Many places Surya means Atma. Okay? Here the Surya means outward going mind. Pingala means inward going mind. Star means purpose of sadhana, focus of sadhana. Okay? Samadhi. That's star. So Baba is saying that Ida, Pingala and Sushumna are there. When the mind, when the three meet in the region of the ether in the heart, the time all the three meet, where Ida, Pingala and Sushumna meet, at the two places. Ida, Pingala and Sushumna open up at two places. At the bottom of the spine called Mooladhara and at Adna Chakra. These are the two places they open up. Otherwise they are separate, independent. Okay? So that's why Moola Bandha will take the prana into Sushumna, okay, and raises the prana to Adna. Okay? So the Ida, Pingala, they meet at two places. Now he is referring to a place where meeting at Adna Chakra. This place is called Triveni Sangama in our mythological literature, where Ida, Pingala and Sushumna together, three are called Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. Saraswati is Sushumna Nadi. Saraswati is enlightenment. Saraswati whom we worship is actually Sushumna Nadi in us. That opens up Jnana. Okay? The three thing which meet us is in Adna Chakra, the central channel. And it is said that if you take a bath in Triveni Sangama, you will get mukti. That's why people go to Allahabad, where Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati will meet. But actually it is Triveni Sangama inside. Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati at the center. And it is said that Krishna danced on the top of Kalinga. Kalinga Mardana, you have heard of that? Kalinga, where is the Kalinga? In Yamuna river. Yamuna Thire, Dhira Samire. In Yamuna there is a river, the serpent called Kalinga. Okay? So Yamuna refers to, actually in spiritual literature, Yamuna refers to Surya Nadi, which is actually Ida, Pingala. So what happens, it's a fierce, the energy in that is fierce. Mind is outgoing, aggressive. Okay? So that is Kalinga. And when that when that energy rises in Sushumna, Krishna dance on that. Sri Krishna dance on that. That's called Kalinga Mardana. That's called enlightenment. That's called Mukti. So what is written in Bhagavatam is actually Ida, Pingala and Sushumna, Yamuna is the energy moving in the Kalinga is the energy moving in the Yamuna, which is Surya Nadi, which is forceful, aggressive, disturbing. So that energy, when it starts moving into Sushumna, Sri Krishna dances on that. That's called Kundalini. Are we clear? So many of the Purana and Itihasa refer to the inner awakenings within us with the external symbols. So people confuse the external symbols with the inner and then misled in the spiritual path. Okay. We'll stop at this. Huh?
ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮೆಟಫರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. There is no other way.
One minute. Just
There
say.
is no other way that we'll explain ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೂ ಮೆಟಫರ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Artha ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. They are given as metaphors. In earlier days, this metaphors was a common understanding. Now the common understanding has gone, so the metaphors are only remained. Symbols have only remained.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪರ್ಸಾನಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿಫರ್ ಸಿಂಬಲೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರೀ ಪರ್ಸನ್ನೇ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ. When you go to that level, you will automatically understand.
Now, what was there is what she says. Earlier days, that was a common understanding. Now we are left with the only skeleton.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಲೇ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಯು ರೀಚ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಎವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಯು ಆಟೋಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕಲಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ಯಾರು ಹೇಳದೇ ಇದ್ರು ಸಮ್ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಯು. ವೈ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೋ, ವೈ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್
Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let there be peace throughout the universe. Let all living beings in land, sea, forest and sky have peace. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha सुखिनो भवन्तु. हरिः ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओम. आत्मदर्शनम् ब्रह्मदर्शनम् आत्मदर्शनम् ब्रह्मदर्शनम् ब्रह्मदर्शनम् सत्यदर्शनम् ब्रह्मदर्शनम् सत्यदर्शनम् सत्यदर्शनम्. Just stop this.